Don't let anyone tell you that tying a tie is easy. It's not. It's difficult. There are so many factors that you have to consider when doing it. And also, some people just, God giveth and God taketh away. You need to have this kind of visual instruction memory. I learned that not everybody was able to follow a diagram at a very young age. I remember that the library got in origami. It was in the 80s, and origami had just become a fad, and there were all these books at the library, and none of the adults could figure out how to do it. But for some reason, I could look at the pictures and be able to translate them and unfold the paper. So they had me come in and teach all of these adults how to fold paper. And I'm not the smartest guy. It's just some people can do different things. We all have these things that I could look at the pictures and know how to decipher the images. And I like folding, and it's kind of like a mixing science and art together, and that's what you have to do. Now, the hardest part about tying a tie is the fact that all ties are different lengths, all ties are different thicknesses this way, and made of different materials that makes them different thicknesses. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and you just have to do it over and over again. It depends on how high your pants are. So many factors, so many considerations, but I can show you the basics of how to tie two different ties. Oh, here's an example of where I don't even remember what these knots are called. I think the double one is a Windsor knot, the one that's all straight and symmetrical, and then the loose one, a half knot. I think it has a better knot than that. We'll start with the basic tie, and we'll also try on a shirt. I'm going to do it over and over again, so you can watch right now. We'll get it over with. I'll probably vlog after I do this, because this is going to be a one-cut video. But you take the long end, the thick end. Oh, and I have so many opinions on the widths of ties. I like a thin, narrow tie. I don't think it's ever going to go out of style. It's a little more rock and roll, a little more wide ties. I can't see how they could ever be in fashion again. They look like clown ties, so make sure you have a narrower tie. It's cooler, if you want to be cooler. Who doesn't want to be cool? You want to be cool. Even if you're like a responsible lawyer adult, you still want to be cool. Okay. Fat end over at the top. Then you wrap it around the thin end like this. And when you're tying a tie, you want to keep things as flat and as straight, and you really want to pay attention to that the whole time. Keep things flat and neat. And then you're going to wrap this around here. I don't know, this is so weird for me. I should probably not even look into the camera, because I'm so used to never looking at myself. I'm starting over, so I'm losing control. See how hard? It's not easy. So you take it, you wrap it around here, you wrap it across the front, you take it up the back, and you put it down through the front that you already made. Oh, that was so loose. And when you're doing this, you want to keep things all straight. So you don't want this to bend out of way. You want it to keep the ribbon flat. Everything flat as much as possible. Flat. And you have your simple tie. Now, it's not very, maybe I should put my glasses on for this. It's not very symmetrical. This kind of bothers me, that it doesn't go straight across, that it always is on a little bit of angle, but it's just because that's how the tie is tied. It's usually hidden by the collar. We will incorporate a collar when I do it over and over again in the rest of the video. But that is a tie. Now, how about, where is it hitting? I always hit the point right in the center of the belt buckle. That's where I like my tie. This looks a little short. This is a little short. It doesn't look a little short. All right, we'll do it again. Fat end over the top and around again, because you want to put that's the pretty part, the pretty triangle. And then you're going to tuck this under and then through. And there's different things you want to do. This is what people don't tell you. They don't say keep this flat and make sure when you're pulling it through, and keep this flat when you're pulling it through. And you want to make sure that it doesn't twist up. You want this to be flat. And you want to make that all tidy, and you want this to be as flat as possible. Now, sometimes if you do have a thicker tie, this is probably the thickest tie that I would ever wear. Maybe I have one that's slightly thicker. There was this thing that happened in the 90s. Well, I guess it happened before that. But because they had thicker ties, and you would make a little dimple there, and that does add a little bit. See, that's very wedding-y. So more really kind of formal. You can like push and sculpt like a little dimple in there if you want to. And that does add a little more fancy detail to it. But most of the time people try to make it flat and normal, and by pushing the curve out and pushing this in. So then you have a tie like that. And this is a perfectly good knot, very rock and roll knot. The fact that it is asymmetrical and it goes down one side it's kind of cool and relaxed. And when I wear a tie, I don't do up the top button. I can't even think of a time that I ever would anymore. I'm not sure. It's kind of like the two breast buttons on a jacket. Nobody is they tell you never to do up the bottom one, so you just always do the middle one or the top two when you're doing up the top of the jacket. Okay, so there is the basics of the tie. Should we put a shirt on before we go into the deluxe Windsor knot? We'll do it one more time. How about that? So fat side over top of the front, then around the back and around the front again, up through the back, and then down through the little pocket you made. Now you have to keep doing this over and over again until you get it right. So that's where you have to pay attention. This is what we should have did the whole time. We should have said, okay, so we know that this end is way too long, so we have to do a little bit of adjustment here, and look how short that is. But you will be surprised, depending on, also I didn't mention how tall you are, another huge, very important consideration. Put this down through. See, look, I even twisted it, but I can find my way back. Can't see. I got the lights in my eyes. Oh, look, I even got it backwards. But we can salve it. We can salvation. No, I can't. I can't save it. Okay. All right. See, not easy. It's not always easy. Really short end here. Take it around. Take it around. So when you do a Windsor knot, you're going to see that you need a really long tie to do it, or you need to be really short, or you need to have really high-waisted pants, because you have to use up more of the tie to do it. Okay, do this. And then how's this going? Oh, this is too long. Way too long. So we're going to have to do that again. So we saw that. Try not to move this part off of your neck when you're undoing it, when you're doing it again, so that you know that that this stays in the place. So then you know to take it a little bit longer, and then we'll go again. So wrap it around and around. Oh, did I skip a spot? Okay, I skipped a step. Wrap it around a loop there. Wait, no, what's happening? Tying a tie isn't easy, I told you. Around here, around the back, around the front, up underneath, through the hole, keeping everything, doing it slow. Sorry, I'm going so fast. Keeping it flat. We'll do it slow again. We'll do it lots and lots of times. And I messed that up. I don't know how I mess it. I'm trying to solve it by seeing how I always want these things to curve not outward, but inward is what I try to do to make it tidy and neat under the collar and as flat as possible. I actually don't even mind. So it's kind of olden days. I should look into the history of ties, because sometimes they would just like let it hang out like this. Like that looks, doesn't that look old fashioned? Like from the 1600s? What were you doing? Okay. Oh yeah, we were doing. Look, it's too short. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that happened? So I didn't let it shift on my neck. So then I know I have to. It's just the slight little bit will make a difference, and you just have to do it over and over and over again until you get it right. So around here, around the back, around the front, up around here, and you make every fold. It is very much like origami, because you want to keep it flat all the way around, every step of the way. This one, it's too short. So funny. It is more difficult to do it while you're watching me. I'm going to close my eyes now and do it. Around here, I'm doing it slowly. Around this part. Then around the back. Then around the front. Then up underneath. And then down through the pocket. Shift it. So these always turn this way, but I would definitely prefer them not to, but I think it's impossible for them not to. How's this one? Oh, this one feels really good. I guess for the pants that I have on. Right in the middle of the belt buckle, right to the middle of the button. That's where I like it. Okay, let's do it with a shirt. I'm opening this up. I'm not letting it slip around on my neck. Oh, it might have slipped a little bit there. That was the perfect length. Shirt on yet? No, we're going to do a Windsor knot. Now, a Windsor knot uses a lot of tie, so we have to scoop this up. And then we're going to go... We're doing exactly the same way. You're going to take it, you're going to wrap it around. Whoa. I think it's backwards because of the camera that I'm looking at. Okay, relax. You're going to take it, you're going to wrap it around normal, like you usually did. You're going to take it around to the back, but this time instead of going across, you're going to wrap it around the other one. So that you make these two. Why does that look messy? I don't know. So you're wrapped around both ends of these, and then you're going to wrap it around the front and bring it down through. So then you get this very symmetrical, fancy tie. Now you gotta have a wide collar if you're going to do this, or a wider collar, or a thin tie. Because otherwise your knot is going to be big and thick and ridiculous, which sometimes looks good for weddings. Again, it looks somehow like it's from the 1600s. But it is a very nice, fat, symmetrical tie. Again, it looks great with a dimple if you have enough tie to put that in. So I sculpt in a dimple sometimes. And I did pretty good, but did you see how short I had to make the end? Yet it's still not long enough. Now you might have these are really high-waisted pants, especially if you're doing something more formal. But we'll do that again Yeah, we'll do that again right now. All right, so we're going to make it really short, like this short. That's shorter than before. We're wrapping it around the first side. We take it around the back. We wrap it around the second side. There we go. We put it all over. We cover the front. And then we take it up the back and down through the pocket we created. It's hard to do that and show you. And make sure that goes to the front. And then tuck and straighten and maneuver, keeping everything flat. Remember, flat. And there we have it. It's making this is my magic tie because it goes with everything. I don't understand why, and I think this, how did I make it too long? Just that little tiny adjustment can really switch things up. Oh, look what happened here. This can happen. You don't want this to happen. If this happens, do it all over again. It means that something got twisted. I mean, you can probably figure it out and shimmy and twist. Yeah, it did. But you never want this, because if this flips out, people are going to think you're a slacker. It looks really sloppy if that part shows when it pops out. Now you want to put a tie clip on here. I'm a big tie clip condoner, even if you're like really casual. You're like a rock and roll guy and you have put a tie clip on. You know what I use instead? Sometimes I will use like a safety pin or a kilt pin, and I will wrap it around there. I'll stick it through the hole in one of my buttonholes to keep it in place. But I do like a good kilt pin or safety pin just to add a little bit of edge to a formal look. Okay, here we go. All right, I think we're ready to try it with a shirt on. Don't wear one of these shirts under a shirt either. That's never cool. That's a fashion tip. You gotta go. You can wear a t-shirt, but don't wear one of those athletic shirts under a shirt. I don't know why. I'll come up with a rule to why that's inappropriate. And also, rules are meant to be broken. All right, so you can see this shirt is wrinkly and it's rugged and it's like a plaid cotton shirt and it's not even pressed or anything. This is my style. Sleeves are a great length. We like that. Oh, I have to put pants on too. Okay. I did bring my favorite rustic suit. This is applicable. I mean, it's probably easier if you're going to do it with fancier clothes, with more streamlined items. We'll try a different tie too. Let's see. So let me swoop that down, because this is very important, and a lot of people don't show you that in a tie tutorial. They don't show you the bottom waist part, which is super important. I like a button collar for when you're wearing a tie. Sometimes you have a button back here, so you have to undo all of that. And sometimes it's hard to undo the buttons. Okay, button up. Do up this button too. There's a tip. Especially when you're starting out. That'll get things out of the way, make it really easy and simple to do. I'm going to throw in another lesson here. I was curious to see if this one was exactly the same material. It is. So that's kind of cool. These are two very old Clamonaco pieces of clothing. Clamonaco tie, Clamonaco shirt. So they use the same print. That's awesome. I must have worn these before. Now this tie is square at the bottom, and I kind of like this look. But when you're lining this up, I think you do want to I personally am never sure, and it is a preference thing. Some people like to have short ties, and these fads will come in longer ties, but you can't go wrong with pointing it to the center of the button, the center of the buckle. That is the best place to point your tie. However, here we have an imaginary one, so I think in this case that I am going to imagine that the tie gets extended and the point is there. And I think with this case, when it's cut off, you do have to imagine that it does continue on in a point, and that would be the place where you would aim for the center of the button. So it would go a bit high. I'd say maybe aim for the top of the pants, which maybe I should have used a more contrasting tie for this. You know what, I really should, but we're going to do it anyway. I am curious to see if a Windsor knot will work with a tie like this, which I don't think it would. Now, the tie does seem a bit longer, so it looks like I can have lots of room, but we have to give it a whirl and see. So around this part, then around the back, then over the top, then up underneath. And while you're going up underneath, you kind of want to dig in here. This is underneath. You're holding the pocket open, so you don't have to do, I'm showing you, but we'll do a smoother version. And then you go like that, always keeping everything flat, like I told you, very important. And maybe it's good that I am showing you on something that there is no contrast, because that is going to happen. And look, things are shifting, but you kind of have to tidy things up, do some twisting, because things get twisted when you tighten them. And then you put the collar down, and then you definitely undo this button, because you want to see how you would do it. And this is a good example. That last tie I showed you didn't have one of these pockets, but we love those when that's included. Then you don't need a tie clip, or a safety pin is what I like to use. And like I said, I take the safety pin. I guess I'll do that in another video. Let me know if you want to see what I do. And I'll put the safety pin through the pre-existing buttonhole, and I'll put it across there. And I really, really like the way that looks. I really like the way this looks. However, look, way too short. I underestimated the thickness. This is a quite a thick tie, which, I mean, it's not really a thick tie, but just in contrast to its thinness. So we need to try this. I don't know how much to give it. Like I said, it's not easy. You have to keep trying until you do. Try not to demonstrate this one. See if you can see what I'm doing while I close my eyes and do it. Let's see how we made out. In this case, it's still too short. Look, it might be even shorter. How did that happen? Okay, see, I'm untaking it out, trying not to let it slip on the back of my neck. However, it did slip on the back of my neck. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Wrap it around the first string, wrap it around the back, wrap it around the front, wrap it underneath, and stick it down through the hole in the front. So that's more how I would do it, so that keeps things into place when you keep it tight, but it's hard to keep it tight when showing you how to do it. And then this one, it seems a little bit short to me, but I'm just gonna, you can cheat it if it feels a little short, and try to pull it and make your knot tighter that way. And then, you know what, with a belt and everything, it's good. And it seems like, I guess I'm a pretty tall guy, so we're just making it into the loop. So I don't understand I'm not that tall. I'm 6 foot tall, but perhaps the rest of the population is shorter, or maybe they wear higher pants because we don't even have anything to work with. We would have to definitely use a tie clip if we're going to do a Windsor knot with this. We wouldn't want to do a Windsor knot with this, though. Well, I say that. All of these rules that I'm going to give you, there's always going to be exceptions, of course, and like, I don't like long hair with a suit. I think it looks really silly, but sometimes it works. Sometimes some guy, I don't, it just, it's such a, sometimes contrasts are great. But that's pretty smart. That's pretty cool. I love the pattern on pattern of itself. Very nice look. Let's try a Windsor knot. We'll do a Windsor knot again. You gotta undo the buttons. You gotta pop the collar. You gotta give yourself space and room to work with. And just do it over and over again. I hope you're trying a lot, coming along with me and just doing it over and over again. And listening to my tips and work-throughs, because they're very important. Okay, a Windsor knot, I really think we're going to need a lot. So this is that symmetrical knot that looks really fancy. We go around that part. We take it around the back, just the same normal, but this time we go around the other side. And then we go, let's make sure that everything's tidy and neat. So we created two things that are exactly the same. Then we're going around the front and then up through the back, just the same as we normally do. And then down through the pocket, down through the hole in the front. And it seems unnecessary, just I guess because this tie is so square and so just straight, such a straight square, that there isn't much of a difference in the knot. And it is thinner. It's not really right. This isn't a very rock and roll tie knot. Very good for weddings. Very good for, I don't know. Even if I was a lawyer, I would want to be a little more rock and roll in this. And look at this. This just, I got it right on, right the first time. It might be, you're seeing it hang forward like this, so it might look a little longer. But I think I was very lucky there that I got it right on the first time. You might get a tie and you might wear your same suit and your same pants and your same tie, and you might know exactly every time where to put it because you're wearing the same suit and the same shirt and the same tie all the time. So that's going to make it super easy. But if you are mixing and matching, you're going to have to, do it over and over and over again until you get it right. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Why is this twisted around backwards? I told you about that. You don't want that. Make sure that it's twisted in the right direction. It looks extra sloppy if it gets out of place and you're seeing the back of the tie. This isn't so bad. Here, we're definitely going to need some kind of tie clip or something to hold that into place, unless you're going for that super rock and roll. But you kind of want to hide the fact that this is so short. That looks silly. So I would definitely use a tie clip or get a safety pin like I like to do and put it in there. This doesn't look so bad. The Windsor knot, kind of nice. Again, I would open up this, even though with a Windsor knot, because it is so fancy, I would say that this would be a good time to keep the button done up, stuff everything in and around, and look super, super neat and tidy and fill up that space. So normally with a Windsor knot, you'd want a bigger collar, but because this is a smaller, thinner tie, it is all kind of working together, even though this is all rustic, rugged material. Still looks pretty good. That is how you tie ties. Let's put on a blazer. Let me see. This isn't a matching suit, but I think that it matches enough. It's like this really dark blue. All of my stuff looks like workwear. And when I say workwear, I mean like construction. But that is fancy. I would never wear a hat with a suit. No. I mean, there are hipsters doing things, but try to avoid hipstery things. However, if you have long hair and you're wearing a suit, it might look better if you have a beard. I don't know if a top knot looks okay with a suit. Personally, I can't do it. We're going to have to talk about in future videos about short pants. Sometimes I see people with short pants on, with their boots on, and their pants are all short and shit, and I think it looks good. For me, I can't make it look good. The tie is looking silly to me, especially. So we're also going to talk about my hair one day, because my hair is able to be faked as short or long. Kinda, I don't know about long hair in suits. It can be done. I've seen rockers in suits before. Even this can be a look. It's so great that we are at a place in fashion where there are no rules and anything goes. Even like this would look amazing. Kind of given like a scarf vibe. That's kind of cool. I would definitely wear this, especially because it is the same material as the tie. It's kind of giving this blouse feel. We'll tie the tie one more time. How about that? With the buttons down and the button undone. Simple. I think that this is the right way. Going around here, around the back, over the front, around the bottom, through the hole. Did that really sloppy. I don't know why I can't see. Yes, I do. The lights are in my eyes. Oh, it's way too short. But sometimes that doesn't even matter. Look. You have nice pieces of clothing. You could even get away with it and say, hey, I did that on purpose. Look, it matches perfectly. That's why there are no rules. You could just tie some really sloppy knot here and it would be fine. I also use like ribbons as ties sometimes in the past. I found a nice thick ribbon. Or belts, pieces of leather straps, rope. I've worn rope ties. Yeah, I don't even mind this right now. Look, I'm kind of cool because I tied this tie with confidence. So, if you have confidence and you tie your tie wrong, just say, I'm cool. You know what? You probably, if you don't know how to tie the tie properly and you tie it wrong, then you probably can't have the confidence. You can't say, hey, you got to know how to tie a tie correctly before you start wearing it incorrectly. That is definitely a good rule for fashion. But me, because I do know how to tie a tie, I think I could get away with this. I'm kind of loving it, and I'm mostly probably because the material matches. They're the same material. I really missed getting dressed up. The pandemic has been on top of me moving to the suburbs, and then the pandemic came. I really do miss dressing up. I got so many nice clothes that I love. Alright, I hope I'm usually not very coherent, but that might have been one of my most coherent moments ever. I hope that it helped at least one person in tying a tie, even though there are some great tutorials, of course, on YouTube. Do it over and over and over again. It's not easy. Don't let anyone tell you it's easy. It's not easy. All right, let's clean some stuff up. I don't know how much more I'm going to vlog today. But I have been doing a really good job at keeping things clean. I am so excited about my advent calendar that has all kinds of great little treats and surprises and toys and stuff. And for me, each day is like a stocking of wonderful things that I'm super excited about. I can't function inside. Suits are good for walking outside and stuff. They're not good for being inside. Did I just record too many videos? My throat. Okay, and over here we're doing pretty good at clearing things out. I still have a lot of bins. I'm selling a lot of toys and have to do that. And making piles of projects and things. I have to now clean up this mess that we made. Here, let me put on a pair of pants just in case something slips out. But that was something that I was going to do with you because it's something that I have to do, and we might as well do it together. I have to start exercising again. I stopped exercising because of all of the leaf work I had to do, and that was exercise enough. Like, I would be so sore. I'm always so sore after I scoop the leaves out of the pool or do the yard work, because you're moving your body, especially this time of the year. But the leaves weren't wet this year, which was good. I'm going to go around and things that I don't know what to do with. I do this a lot. I put them in a cardboard box, and then I will, sometimes the cardboard box never gets emptied, but most of the time it does. I just, it's easy just to pick everything up, put it in a cardboard box, get it out of the way, and then another time, maybe right after, but usually not, I look something else that I know where it goes away, but I can't put it away at the moment. And another time I'll go through the cardboard box and I'll put the stuff where it's supposed to go. And it is easier because, first of all, you've cleaned up the space and you have peace of mind. And then secondly, it makes it easier just to do one thing at a time, because you just take the first thing on top of the box, you put it away. You take the next thing out of the box, you put it away. And that is how you get something done. Not that I can teach anyone how to get things done, because I am certainly not an expert on that. Any other updates? I have found I think it's rare. I think people buy things that they intend to use and they don't use them. But I do. Before I buy something, I do a lot of research and have a lot of consideration for me buying it. So when I do stumble upon something that I bought that I've never ever used, it does kind of upset me. I'm excited about Christmas this year. This is fun. I've been playing the Christmas tunes. I have the fireplace on the computer all the time now, which I really like. It's not on right now. The light is going down. I'm later putting up this video, but I guess we've been. I guess I've been talking enough. I wonder if you just like. It could have been an ASMR kind of experience. It is a longer video, alright. I love that. 40 minutes, me tying a tie. You got a little update. Oh, I was considering cutting my hair. I think I'm going to. Oh, I don't know. Let me talk a little bit about that here for a second. I like that it can look short, and then, like, if I put gel in it, I would gel it back, and the length of it on the sides is perfect right now, because you can't even tell, just because of how thick my hair is, you can't tell that it doesn't fade, that it's not a disconnect. This doesn't fade into this. This is just all one length straight. Oh, that's something that I heard that you should do. If you want to strengthen your hair, pull on it. Maybe that's why they tell the girls to brush their hair every day. If you pull on it, you put stress on the cuticles, whatever, the connections where your hair is connected into your head. And then just like stress with muscles, you stress them out and they repair themselves and they make them thicker. Not that I want my hair any thicker. I'm at that age now, so I sometimes thought I had a receding hairline. I think it has more to do with the gray. But that's I remember seeing a picture about 10 years ago. And I was like, is my hair receding? But no, it's always been this. And by the time you're 50, I think you would. It's looking pretty. I'm looking like I have a pretty high forehead though today, but it wouldn't happen overnight. Anyway, my hair has always been like this, and I'm not concerned with losing it. Oh yeah, this is what we were talking about. It's kind of cool that I have this option, and that's why, even though I don't look good with long hair, so I like this hairdo. I like this where it's like it's just a semi-long hairdo, and then you can see that it's a little bit long in the back. So I do like that. That's called like millionaire hair, where you just have, because I've got this nice, so I like the fact that I can look different, and this is a look that I like. But also, when it's a little curlier, which it's got to be longer, because if I let it like air dry and I don't if I let it air dry and don't towel dry it or anything, then it will be a bit curlier. Well, it'll be a lot curlier, actually. I don't like straighten it or go out of my way to make it straight. But this when it's a long hair, I guess with bangs too. Bangs. This can look good. I say this can look good. Obviously, it can't. Obviously it's not looking good. Did I look fat there? I don't want to look fat. But if I have a beard and hair like this, then I can look better. But I don't. It's so cool to have those options. Look, I can have short hair like that, and then I can have long hair like that. I think what I really need, though, I really need a professional trim, and I think that would solve everything. It would also stop it from me ripping it out of my head and it keep breaking, because it would tangle at the end and then the pieces fall out, and then we're getting layers, and layers isn't good with my hair because it doesn't lay flat, and people don't know that. Hairdressers don't know that. They always want to give me layers because it's so thick, but if I have layers, then it just goes all over. It just goes out like a frisball. You need it to be long and non-layered so that it weighs itself down. Oh, I'm explaining my hair to you. Maybe you have hair like this. It's a blessing and a curse. There's lots of it, but there's too much of it. Oh, so that is why this shaved on the side thing really, really is amazing, because now I kind of know what it's like to have hair like a lot of people, because I use the hair on top of my head and I turn it into the hair all around my head, and then suddenly, because I have half as much hair, I almost have hair like normal people have. I do like this hairdo. It looks pretty good, and you can't tell, at least I can't tell right now in this lighting, but I don't like long hair with glasses. I think that looks it's long hair is too wild. I'm trying to explain this. I'm trying to figure this, my opinion, out to myself too. I don't know how harsh light is looking, because it's so carefree for a guy to have long hair. So as guys, girls can have glasses on long hair. Maybe they can't. There's a certain, when you're doing something that's olden times, like when I see goths with glasses, there's a disconnect there. It's like too edgy matched with something too responsible. And I guess that's what it is. Long hair. Some people would be able to pull it off, though. There's no rules to fashion. There's no rules. But there are rules. There is black and white. But sometimes the right person, and then again, confidence. That's the biggest thing. What are these things hanging from my ceiling? Did we answer? Did we solve any problems today? I don't know. Did you learn how to tie a tie? I don't know. Was I able to talk for an hour about nothing? Yes. I hope you watched. I hope I put you to sleep. I hope the video played all the way through. I hope you had it on a playlist that played all the way through. I hope commercials were playing. I hope you were clicking on the commercials. We're getting closer to monetization on this channel, so let's do it. I'm decorated for Christmas. I'm happy. I love you. Have a wonderful night. Please leave your comments down below. I want to hear all of your opinions. What you don't like, what you do like about me. Yeah, please tell me what you don't like about me, because I think I have to change it if I'm going to have any amount of success. Bye.